Welcome back to another episode of Grizzly True Crime. My name is Gisela K. Today, we're going to look at what this 22-year-old woman did after meeting a 24-year-old man on Instagram. Now, he has thankfully survived this whole ordeal, but just. It was a very close call. Please note that this content is for adults only. Trigger warning. It's also for entertainment purposes only. Let's get started. Welcome back, Grizzlies. It's always nice to see you. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you are brand new here and you don't know what a Grizzly is, all you got to do is subscribe and hit the bell, and you're one of us. Welcome. So today we're going to look at the case of Valerie Rosario and her three buddies who did the worst to an unsuspecting 24-year-old man. Now, there are some lessons that we can learn from all of this. Of course, as you know, we like to deep dive. We like to get our snark on, but we also like to learn lessons and spot the red flags if we can. So that's what we're going to do today. So this 22-year-old woman, Valerie Rosario, was noticing a 24-year-old man's profile on Instagram. Why? Because he was flashing the cash. So that's red flag number one. Don't flash the cash, and if you do, be careful who targets you. That is the lesson, because he thought he was being so cool, flashing all his wealth online, and unfortunately, he got caught up in the worst situation he could have ever thought of. So this 22-year-old woman spotted his Instagram profile and then started DMing, slid into the DMs, chatting to him, and invited him over to an apartment in Marble Hill in the Bronx. And he thought this was going to be great. Now here's another red flag. The date was set for 1 a.m. on February the 7th. This year, yes. Oh man, 1 a.m. is a booty call. That is not how you meet up for the first time with someone, okay? I will do my best not to ever judge you. If you're in a relationship and you're just quickly going over, I'm not trying to be a party pooper. I'm trying to just make sure we all stay safe, you know what I mean? That if you're just going to go over to someone's house for the very first time at 1 o'clock in the morning, someone you met online, on Instagram or TikTok or Tinder or whatever it is, I don't know if anything good can come from that. Anyway, he went over there at 1 a.m. on February the 7th. And the minute he arrived, smelling good, looking good, all dressed up for his date. Do you think that he saw her there? She was just a bait. She was really, as I say, the honey trap. And so when he got there, three men, three of her buddies, pistol whipped him, as they say in the articles. Sounds so dramatic, right? Pistol whipped him. But they pistol whipped him, bound him, gagged him, put him in the bathtub, stripped him, covered him in flammable liquid, burned him, stabbed him. I mean, it was completely overdone. And I say that in the sense of what they wanted. Why did they do this? Because they wanted to threaten his family. They wanted ransom money. They wanted $100,000. That's what they demanded. However, to think that they probably took a great deal of pleasure in torturing this man would be the reason for them overdoing the torture part of things. They tortured him for over 24 hours. And then they also moved him to a new location in Queens, apparently in his own car. I couldn't quite gather if it was in his own car because he arrived in his own car. That's what it says. But then later he was also found in the back of a van in Queens. So they must have moved him twice. So he arrived at this apartment in the Bronx. Then he was put in his own car, moved to Queens, and then from there transferred into a van where he was found in the back of this van, barely breathing, unconscious, still with tape over his mouth. He almost didn't survive it. He was rushed to hospital. There's been no new updates of his condition right now. But apparently, he's going to be okay. I really hope so. I mean, I'm keeping an eye out on what. But I really hope so. But once he has physically survived everything, the mental struggle, right? I mean, there are some red flags, and maybe there's some lessons or things that, we might find. I just mean we true crimers, number one. Us who are a little bit older, number two, could be shouldn't have done that. But this is not about victim blaming. This is about let's learn, let's spread awareness, let's make sure that no other people get into this situation. Be careful who you talk to online. You don't know who they are. They're definitely posing as, well, not all, but most are posing as something that they're not. I mean, it's just not 100% real, you know what I mean? So especially if he's flashing cash and who knows what she's flashing, and he's like, oh yeah, I can't wait to meet up. I mean, it all sounds fun, but at 1 a.m. for the first time in a new address in the Bronx, no, don't. Please don't do that to yourself. Have some self-respect, you know what I mean? Could save your life, because this could have cost him his life. It almost did. Now, what happened is, after torturing him for 24 hours and completely overdoing it, which I think would be part of their fear tactic, especially to scare his family, the next day, they moved him to Queens and made him FaceTime his brother. So his brother, of course, answered the call and saw the state that his brother was in and got a huge fright, saw these three men and said, if you don't give us $100,000, we're going to kill him. So the brother went to the police, and thankfully within 24 hours, the police were able to track him down in the back of this van and save his life. He was rushed to hospital, as I say, and he's okay. Now, this woman and her buddies were all arrested, from what I can gather. There's one that I can't tell if he's also been arrested, but it would be obvious to me. I also only have 3 of their names. So Valerie Rosario, I got my notes here, of course, Michael Candelario, and Javier Vargas. Now, Javier was 24, Valerie was 22. I'm not sure how old Michael was, and I don't know the name of the third guy, and what his role in this was. I know that the other 2 have been arrested. They've been arraigned, and they are set to be in court on March 22nd. As I say, the court documents have not been released, so I don't know the exact details and timeline of what happened, but we can pretty much gather the story, right? So you might wonder, who the heck is Valerie? Well, 22-year-old woman living on the Lower East Side of Manhattan, apparently, with her mother and her brother. And to think that she was setting up this very sinister stuff while living with her mom and her brother is quite something, huh? Damn, she had a dark horse going on there. Like, she's eating mama's dinner, but then she's like, yeah, online. Imagine it, like, ooh, like who you messaging? Like, no one, nothing, but like you setting up a whole honey trap scheme from home. Oh man, no, with no regard for that man's life whatsoever. Seems like no remorse either. I mean, I haven't seen footage of her. I can just see all her pictures, and I can see how they talk about her in all these articles. It's reporting this case. And between her and her 3 buddies, they didn't care about him. And that makes me worry. Like, really, have they done this before? I mean, from what I can gather, they're pretty young, but how long was the scheme running? Now, again, trigger warning. I'm just going to quickly go over all the things that they did to him. I won't get too graphic. I just want to go over it for, the facts of the case. So, not only did they pistol whip him, but they also bound him, gagged him, put him in a bathtub, stabbed him, covered him in flammable liquid, burnt him, cut him on camera, then wrapped him in a blanket, then put more tape over his mouth. He was barely breathing, unconscious, and chucked him in the back of the van. And I wonder if they were waiting at the location, probably, for the brother to come with the cash. He probably like, okay, I'll be there at that location with the cash, which I think, of course, would have helped the police track the van down. It still must have been kind of difficult because there's so many cars in New York, am I right? I've been there quite a lot. I love New York, but damn, there's a lot of cars there, and it must have been quite difficult to figure out exactly where he is, especially we don't know if his phone was on or off at the time. Interestingly enough, when they got to the van and found him in the back of the van, the dude that was in the van was sitting there with a knife in the van. They found the knife that they had used on him in the van. So, yes, maybe that was him anticipating, that the brother was on his way with the cash and he needed a knife for protection in case something went wrong. Or, what concerns me is, what if they captured the brother too? I don't know how old the brother was, but what if they captured him too and then would call the parents? Very, very hectic, right? Now, in the Manhattan Criminal Court, there was a request that Rosario be held without bail. Judge Soma Syed agreed that given the serious nature of the crime, that Rosario should be remanded in custody. Her defense attorney pleaded that she be released. I'm sorry, I roll. Noting that she lived with her mother and brother while working full-time in a dentist's office. Okay, there's no reason to release her. Look what she did. The defense attorney, Raymond Loving, said, Miss Rosario denies all the allegations that have been leveled against her. Okay. So, see, this is what's upcoming. They say alongside Rosario, Vargas and one of the other alleged kidnappers were also charged and remanded in custody with a grand jury hearing scheduled for Tuesday. Oh my word, it's a busy month for us in the true crime world. I mean, every month is kind of busy, am I right? Oh man. Now, in this article, I can see some comments here that I thought I'd share. They say, looks like he was going for crazy and he got it. And they said, and she still lives with her mom? Hateful POS, which we know what that means, right? Another one said, Katie Cat, she's not attractive at all. And then another one said, she looks like Kim. Cool Kanye. Oh, the snark is in the comments. On any of these articles, if you just scroll down a little, there's a whole snarkathon going on in the comments. Now, you feel free to snark it right up. What shall we call her? I don't know what to call her. You guys come up with the best names. That's why now I leave it to you. In the last one where we covered the 83-year-old serial killer, oh my word, wheelchair bound. Clearly not wheelchair bound though, right? Because in the store footage, like, I mean, she's standing up. Anyway, pretending to be wheelchair bound. You guys, I think it was Robert that came up with Goat Boy. And a few of you were chiming in. They're like, yeah, Goat Boy. Oh man, you cracked me up. So thankfully, as I say, this victim survived physically. We don't know his state right now because this didn't happen all that long ago. But I mean, he would have some physical recovery to do and of course, some mental recovery. And there are a lot of services, of course, that can help with that. So I hope he does get the help that he needs. Man, because the mental recovery is going to be quite something. I'm sure it was very traumatic. He thought he was going to have a great night, and it ended up being one of the worst nights of his entire life. It might become the worst. I hope so. I hope it's actually the worst night he's ever had in his entire life, so that nothing like this ever happens again. Let's hope, this sounds harsh to say, but let's hope he learned his lesson. Don't flash the cash on Instagram, and if you do, be careful of who you DM with. Be careful in any way who you DM with, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, Tinder, what else should I say? Facebook, Twitter, it doesn't matter which platform. Just be careful who you're talking to because I find that in the modern world we live in, I'm giving away my age. In the modern world we live in, it's so easy to feel really bonded quite strongly to people that you talk to online all the time, right? I mean, my entire world is online. I'm a YouTuber. Most of you are not, I don't know anyone from, I know one person from the Netherlands. But most of you are from overseas. I've never met you in my life. You're actually complete strangers, but yet I feel so close to all of you. You know what I mean? So just be careful. You got to have boundaries in place. You got to be kind of street smart these days, you know, with social media. You got to spot the red flags and know that if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. That is so true for social media. Never has that statement had a bigger impact. If it seems too good to be true, it probably is, right? So yes, and please don't meet up with strangers. I sound like such a mom right now, and I don't even have kids. I've only got Fury and Hannah, animals. But please don't meet up with someone at 1 o'clock in the morning in an apartment or somewhere where you've never been before. And that's not to be a party pooper. It's like, please just stay safe. Meet up with them at a decent hour. Go for dinner first, a walk. Go on a few dates first. To go straight for the, you know, like smash or pass type thing. No, because in this day and age, things can go wrong so quickly. And I think there's so much more crime and evil out there. It sounds so doom and gloom, but than ever before. It's so easy to target people now, especially online. So stay safe, be mindful of those red flags, and I'll see you in the next video.